Hello, I'm Amber Lyda. If you know me at all, you probably know me from the online therapist group in Facebook. And that's a place where I help other therapists learn how to build and grow their online therapy practice. The reason that I began that group was because I became really invested in building more freedom, more flexibility, and more flow into my own life. And as I found that it began to work, I wanted to share that with therapists. As my business has grown and as I've started reaching out into other ways of serving, I felt like it was important to begin to share what I'm learning with others because your freedom, flexibility, and flow may go beyond your therapy practice. I want us to talk about how you can live a full and fulfilling life, your personal life and your business life, with ease and flow. You know that space that you get in when you're doing your very, very best work and you just feel like you're in the zone? That's the place I'd like to help you live a little bit more. And without all the pushing and shoving and trying so hard, but with an attitude of ease. It's not to say it's easy, but we're just going to approach with ease. Today, I want to help you find more of this freedom and flexibility and flow while filling your couch. Now, it might be that we are filling your couch with more therapy clients, or maybe we are filling up your online therapy practice and you're sitting on the couch. Or maybe you're chilling out on that couch while you're building an online business of a totally different type. We're going to cover all of those bases today. So, we're going to do some exercises together. So, I'd like you to take a moment to go ahead and get some paper, some pens, pencils, whatever it is that makes you feel kind of creative and in touch with your zestful, dreamy life. And I'd like you to start writing down those things that would make your life feel full and fulfilling. I'm going to share a few of mine just to help inspire you, to trigger your imagination, and also to buy you some time to start writing those things down because we're going to be doing some very special things with them. So hold those things in mind, full and fulfilling. If I were really sitting in ease in a full and fulfilling life, that to me would look like doing more yoga and not having to drag myself there. And that's why I have a picture here of the woman upside down with her feet up in the air. She's holding a little pineapple. I would definitely be spending more time in my hammock with books, or maybe, in my hammock with books but falling asleep. I would spend more time traveling for sure. And I would be spending more quality time with my family. So not just time on the couch watching a show while scrolling through our Facebook feeds or Instagram or whatever it is, but quality time. What would be going on in your life if it were full and fulfilling? As you're thinking about this, consider two columns. What would you want to have more of, and what would you need to have less of? For me, the less side is very specific. I was working in a university counseling center, so an agency job, but like the cushiest of agency jobs. And I loved that work. I worked in there for nearly a decade. I loved the diversity of things that we got to do. I loved the close relationships that I had with colleagues. I really loved the clinical work. But over time, I moved up and up in administration. And as I did that, what I found was while I thought that that would offer me a greater chance to make more impact, a lot of it was just bureaucratic nonsense. And so I felt like a lot of the meaning I kind of traded in. Some of my clinical time I traded in for this pipe dream of making change in the system. And it was just an entrenched system, like I think most agency systems are, and there wasn't a whole lot of room for change. It really made me feel like some of the purpose and meaning was draining from my work life. If there's something there you relate to, make sure you write that down in the last column. I also had a hella commute. So To and from, I was commuting 2 hours a day. And that's in South Florida traffic. If you've ever driven down here, it's absolutely insane. In one year, I was in 2 really bad car accidents. So it's not safe and it's really annoying. Also, kind of just steals life from you. I also found that there was a lot of busy work to be done in an agency. And there's always going to be busy work no matter where you are. But when you run your own business, the work that you do has immediate effects and you can see them. But sometimes when you're working in an agency, you're asked to do tasks that you really don't know if there's ever going to be an impact from that task. And sometimes I remember that there were these things that we had to do every year, like some sort of annual report or something like that. And I was just Miss Go-Getter filling out this annual report and making it amazing, only to find out years later that nobody ever read the annual report. They read the cover page and that was it. Ugh, it was painful. I'm sure that there are things like that you can relate to. Maybe you have little kids and you're having to spend lots of time away from them and have them being taken care of by somebody else just so that you're able to go to work and bring home an income. Maybe you have time away from other family or even just time away from your home. We spend so much money and energy making our home really comfy. To spend so much time away from it kind of doesn't make sense. I know I also wanted to have a lot less fear. I was really afraid of leaving my agency job for many reasons, but one of them was that I wasn't sure what else I could do, or if I left to experiment, if I'd ever be able to find my way back in. So let's turn our attention now to the more side. What would you like more of? I know I wanted more time. I just wanted more time. You think about how many hours we work a day, and then your commute on top of that, and then your chores at home on top of that. And by the time all of it is done, you have an hour? And you're so exhausted that all you can do is stare lamely at the TV. Maybe touching your partner, maybe not, right? I wanted more adventure. And in fact, I wanted so much of it that I accidentally put adventure on this list twice. I wanted to be able to go do spontaneous stuff. I wanted to be able to take a long weekend and not feel guilty for leaving my colleagues or my clients in a lurch at the agency job. I wanted to feel purpose and meaning. I know that at my job, I got to do some really cool work with interns and do training for staff, and I loved my clinical work. Those things made me feel like I had a purpose. They made me feel like my time was meaningful. But there were also a lot of tasks outside of that didn't bring those same feelings up for me. And I was definitely feeling like the longer I worked in agencies and the more those agencies sort of collapsed under the pressures of political systems or financial systems or whatever, there was just less room in the day for purpose and meaning. I wanted to laugh more. I wanted to have more financial control. So one of the beautiful things about running your own business is you make what you set out to make. And I can make a decision that I don't want to run so hard. I don't want to work so hard. And when I make that decision, I can make it knowing how much that's going to cost my bottom line. And sometimes I might have seasons of, man, I really want to build a pool, so I'm going to have to hustle a little. But I have that control. I'm not locked into a state salary that may or may not give me a raise for 3 or 5 years. I desperately needed to exercise and eat better and take better care of my health. I remember that it was just difficult to even go to the doctor because I hated having to leave work, and work was so busy that even when I used my sick time, I just felt bad. I wanted to have a less chaotic life and a more mindful life. And I know a lot of that starts from within, and you can practice mindfulness at any time in your life. But sometimes having a little more space, a little more room, makes it easier. So I want to do another exercise with you. I'd like you to take a look at the blank schedule. I gave you 2 blank schedules. Take a look at one of them, and I just want you to dream big and without constraints. No constraints. And I want you to write in your dream schedule. How many hours would you sleep? Write those hours in. Would you go to bed late and get up Later? Are you a night owl that never got to live your night owlness because the rest of the world wants to function an early morning person-ish? Maybe that's just me. Would you spend a lot of time preparing food? Or would somebody come in and make it for you and you just sit down? Would you spend more quality time with your kiddos? Would you have somebody else running errands? Would you actually have time yourself to run errands and enjoy doing it? Would you exercise more? Where would you put that? Really put it wherever you want. And I imagine that you're still going to want to do some clinical work. So put that in too, but only the number of hours that you want to do clinical work and only in the spots where you want to do it. Maybe every single week you get a massage. Or maybe every single week you spend half an hour a day outside in your garden or making a garden. What are some of the things that you'd like more of in your life? Put them in here. What are some of the things that you've been dreaming of? Put them in. I know this might take you some time, so feel free to keep working on this after the seminar. But I want you to dream really, really big. No constraints. I don't want you to be thinking about money as you fill this out. I want you to be thinking about where you most love to spend your time. What do you do that lights you up? What do you do that makes you feel so content? What do you do that sparks your brain? I'm a podcast and TED Talk fanatic, so there's got to be time built into my schedule for those things. What goes in yours? Now, in this much less attractive schedule, go ahead and pull up your second sample schedule. And with a darker marker, I want you to write in what your actual life looks like. What are you doing every hour of the day? Put in sleep, put in commute, put in food and eating, put in getting ready, put in getting the kids ready. Put in your work hours. Maybe even mark those work hours that you actually love. Put in all the things that you're doing now on a typical week. And I know this will take a little bit of time. Let me tell you what I'd like for you to do with these two sample schedules when we're done. I'd like you to take the one that's your actual schedule, that's in the dark marker, and put it under your dream schedule so that you can see it through the paper. And then I'd like you to circle anywhere where those two schedules overlap. If there aren't any overlaps, really consider what that means. You can have a life that is closer to your dream life than you might imagine. And I'm going to tell you how. So this isn't just kind of foo-foo, like, yay, rah-rah, we can do great things. I'm going to tell you how, and I'm going to tell you how I did it. First, I want to help you identify the obstacles that are going to get in your way. So I am sure you're already feeling some resistance building up. Like some like, yeah, sure, must be nice, right? I'm going to tell you what my obstacles were, and I want you to make the same list for yourself. So for sure, obstacle number one for me was fear. I first thought about starting an online practice over a decade ago. I didn't do it. I waited. I was afraid. I was afraid that I wouldn't know how. I was afraid because nobody else was doing it. I was afraid that colleagues would laugh at me. I was afraid that it would fail. I was also afraid to leave the familiarity I had grown accustomed to at the University Counseling Center. I knew what I was doing. I knew how to do a good job there. I knew what to expect. And it was okay. Like, it was pretty damn good. I liked it. So it was really hard to make a decision to leave it because it was so familiar and it was so, good. Especially when the fear on the other side was so high. Another obstacle for me was just straight up know-how. I had lots of ideas about what I would like to contribute to the world. I had no clue how to do it. I also didn't have a community. I didn't know anybody else who was really thinking like I was thinking, who was thinking like, surely there's got to be a way that we can help people without having to be in this really super structured schedule. And because of all of those things, my creativity, my ability to think outside the box about how to make shit happen was totally stifled. So I just sat still. But listen, y'all, you can have a business and a life that you love. You can do it. I did it, and I'm not that smart. You can do it. Listen, you have hard-won knowledge and skills. You have gifts to give to the world. You don't have to be the only one offering this thing. You just have to be the person offering this thing that somebody found and who was then helped by you being willing to offer this thing. That's it, right? You don't have to have some super novel idea. You just have to share what you know. And there's somebody out there who's going to eat it up, and they're going to be so grateful that you took the time and took the risk to help them. We are in a brave new world when it comes to the opportunities that are available to you online. Never before has it been so easy. It sounded totally like an infomercial. Never before has it been so easy to serve other people without the kind of sacrifice that we've had to make in our history. So why not have a business and a life that you love? Why not? Remember those obstacles? So I want you to just put those obstacles to the side for just a hot minute. Just push them over just a little bit. And I just want to invite you to consider all of the ways that you can have more freedom, more flexibility, more flow by creating a business online. You could move your whole practice online. My practice is 100% online. It's completely full, and it's all private pay. Yes, you can do that too. It's not that hard. You can write ebooks. You can do online coaching. So I do business coaching now. You could do online supervision. I've hired several supervisors myself to help me get even better in my clinical work. You could create digital courses. I've created courses to help other people who want to build an online therapy practice. You could do podcasting. You could do YouTubing. I don't really know that verb. You could create membership sites. All of these are ways that you can make income while also making a huge impact. Consider the depth of work you do in your practice. And imagine if you could share just pieces of that hard-won and innate talent that you have in a broader capacity. So it's not just one-to-one maybe, but maybe it's one-to-many through digital courses or through podcasting or through YouTube videos or membership sites. Maybe you could help even more people and sacrifice some of the other parts of your life less. How? How do you do it? Okay, the first step is just start. Just start. You don't have to have a perfect plan. I'm going to tell you what I think is most important. And I'd like you to listen to this with an ear for building an online business or filling the couch in your clinical practice, whether it's in person or online. If you listen with whichever ear you're most interested in, you're going to be thinking about how to actually fill your couch or how to metaphorically feel it. You know what I mean? Fill it. So first, make time for having a life. Now, I know you're super busy, and it's hard to start building another thing when you're already really busy. And then you're like, how am I going to build that thing when I'm already really busy? And you're telling me I have to put some time in for life. So I don't mean that you have to go to a retreat in Cambodia for a month. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, can you grab 40 minutes sometime during your week to do something pleasing for yourself? And I mean simple, like taking my dogs for a walk and not listening to music, nothing, just being mindfully aware while I go on that walk. Creating a little life. Because what happens when you are go, 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 go all the time is that your brain gets stuck in task mode. And it doesn't have the space, it doesn't have the room for breathing, to think creatively, to allow your mind to percolate on ideas that maybe have been in the back of it for a while. I swear to you, I am like a go-getter, get shit done type of person. So this is not foo-foo woo-woo. I swear you have to make some time to have life in order for all the rest of this to happen. One thing that I did with the space that I carved out for life having is I used a little bit of it for learning. So that's the next piece. If you're going to take the leap to do any of what we're talking about here, you're going to need to learn some more stuff. So if it's about building your practice, getting more clients, you're probably going to have to do some learning about niching down. You're probably going to have to do some learning about business building. If, let's say, you want to do some sort of online business, you're still going to have to do some learning, right? So I began listening to podcasts and YouTube videos. I bought some online courses just to start kind of introducing new ideas to my brain. I wasn't trying to take all the notes and learn all the things and get it just right. I was really just taste testing all of these new things that I had never heard about and never considered before, just to see what kind of stuck, what got me lit up when I thought about it, what made me feel like, oh my gosh, I could do so much with that. That's the feeling you're looking for. Now we're getting into some really juicy stuff here, so get ready. You need to build community. So what I find all the time is that people think, oh, if I just set up a practice and put my listing on Psychology Today, I'm going to fill up my couch. Or if I just create an online product and I put it somewhere on the interwebs, people are going to buy it. Neither of those things is true. You have to build a community, either a community of potential referring sources or a community of people that you are otherwise providing service to. And I'm going to suggest that whether this is a community of people who might refer to you or people that you are wanting to eventually serve for free and then serve for fee, that you begin by being of service. So if you're talking to potential referral services, they're busy. So you really want to make sure that you're coming to them with an offering like, hey, I want to get to know your business so that I can refer people to you eventually. I'm in the growing stages of my business. I know this is the only free time I'm going to have. So I'm making sure to get connected with people that I know I'll refer to down the road. Tell me about your practice. Tell me what kinds of my clients would be good fits for you, right? You're being of service to them. When you do that, you build community, you build trust. The same is true in terms of an online business. So I'm going to say a little bit more about this. When I first started out providing online therapy, there was so much to learn and I had so many different things downloaded to my computer and they were all over the place. And I thought, okay, I need one place to house all of this stuff. And I'd really like to have other people who are learning this with me. So I'm going to create a Facebook group and I'm going to put all this stuff in there. And that way we can all grow together and they can put stuff in and I'll put stuff in and we'll have all of our resources in one place and we'll get to know each other and we'll answer each other's questions and we'll support each other. That community grew and grew and grew. And there were other online therapy type communities out there, but what seemed to be different was that I was really committed to being of service. I was really committed to sharing and trying to help. When I did that, what I watched happen was that community just bloomed. And as it grew, and I was still learning, it seemed like I tended to be just a half a step ahead of where others were. And the result was that they started asking me for things. They said, hey, Amber, can we meet one-on-one and you could help me figure out what's not working with my practice or why I'm not getting new clients? I was like, sure, let's do that. So I did it over and over and over again until eventually I was like, oh, I don't have any more time to do this. I'm full clinically and I'm full of these free consultations. So I had to start charging for it. And people paid. People paid for that. And then they said, hey, could you create a course? And I said, yeah, sure, I can do that. And they paid for that. And they asked me, hey, could you give us your paperwork? And I was like, yeah, sure. And they paid for that. So when you create a community and you are of service to that community, And I mean, you need to serve. You're going to give a lot of stuff away for free. When you do that, what you find is that people will begin to ask you for products. And if this is a point where you need to listen hard and provide, and I know you probably have some dream product that you want to put out there. I know that saying, if you build it, they will come. But you know what? Now everybody's building it. Everybody's got products out there. So anybody can get anything from anywhere. So it's not unless you have a community that somebody will buy your product. Now I'm overstating for the sake of making the point, obviously. But if you build the community first and you're of service to them, they will tell you what to make. Make that thing, give it to them, then make that thing, sell it to them. They want it, and they'll want it from you because through this community, they've gotten to know, like, and love you. And they want your help, not somebody else's. As you do this, and here's what's so cool, you'll have a bajillion ideas about stuff that you want to create. But in the beginning, make sure you're doing what your community is asking you for. This serves you in a few ways. One, it continues to build know, like, and trust with your community. Number two, it gets you practice figuring out how to do this damn thing. Like, how do I make a product? How do I actually invoice people for it? How do I get it to them? There's a lot of like little techie things that you're going to have to learn along the way. So why not make use of this practice? Then all of your big ideas that you've been dreaming about, you'll be able to use with all this practice under your belt. So you'll be able to roll them out with some expertise. Now, because you'll have 1,000,010 ideas, I recommend that you prioritize, sorry for the error in prioritize the passions that will be profitable. Seriously, you're going to have 1,000,010. If you chase every one, you will not complete any of them. So you need to actually pick one and move forward with that one. Because there are so many, and most of them will be of service to someone, pick the one that is of service and will actually make you a profit. Because when you begin to make profit, you begin to buy time to make more products and to serve more and to make a greater impact. And when you make a greater impact, you make a greater income. At this stage in your business, you want to make sure that you've made friends who are also doing kind of similar things to what you're doing. Some that may be a little behind you and you're giving a hand up. Some that are a little ahead of you and you're kind of reaching up to them like, hey, can you help me out? And some that are at the same stage. First of all, because you'll need it for your sanity. Second of all, because that sort of community brings a whole nother aspect in life to your business. It will invigorate you when you're getting really tired and you're not sure where else to go, and it will normalize your struggles. Next, now, you know I told you to have a focus, but remember that this is also supposed to be building the dream life that you want, and I like spontaneity and fun. So I learned that I needed to keep my focus at the forefront, but also I needed to give myself permission to dabble a little on the side. So I had special days of the week that was all dabble day. I got to dabble in whatever I felt like dabbling in. The cool thing was that I was able to complete the projects that were my focus, but I was also able to throw a little bit of spaghetti at the wall with these dabbling things. And some of those things that I dabbled in turned into really cool things that people wanted. They turned into a whole nother aspect of my business. And some of them totally flopped. And I was like, I hate this. Why did I start doing this? And then I just let them go. So the fun is in being able to focus and get things done and also dabble a little, right? Because we want to play. Make sure that while you're doing all this, you remember what it's all about. Because if you're anything like me, this shit is fun and you will get consumed with it. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I wiggled around the leaf on this particular slide because it's fun. So make sure that if you lose yourself to work the way that I can tend to do, you keep yourself rooted and grounded to remembering what it's all about. And for me, it's all about getting to do things that I'm passionate about, that help other people, and help me make a life for myself and my family and those cute little dogs there, and help me go on adventures like scuba diving. And that's a picture from the one on the far right on my screen is a picture from when I got to visit Scotland recently. So at this point, you're kind of settling in to whatever your business is. And you're like, damn, this works. I love it. You might want to consider scaling at this point. And scaling means being able to continue making money without having to do a whole lot more work. There are lots and lots of ways to scale online businesses. I'm not going to go into them right now because you need to get to the first stages first. But just remember that I said to you, hey, when it's starting to feel really good, we want to think of ways that if something were to happen to you and you had to stop working for a while, your business could continue to function in the background of your life. That's one piece. And the other is that it could continue to grow without you having to do work to it all the dang time. Okay? And the last piece here, this is just for good mojo. Make sure you're giving back. If you're a therapist who has found the way, if you've found the way to not have to live in the linear little line that I think all of us were told was the only way to make it, make sure you're helping other people find that way. It's just good karma. So if you want to know more about this kind of thing, I just wanted to make sure that, you got a taste of the fact that it could be different for you. I want to share just one more little nugget before we wrap up. I shared with you that I left my agency job and I started an online practice, and that when I did that, I created some community because I was kind of nervous about leaving all my community behind in the counseling center. And that community helped me create a whole separate business. Now I do online business coaching. I do online business consulting. I provide online supervision. I've created online courses. I've written but not published a book. I can't even think. There's so many things. The podcast is coming out soon and the membership site is coming out soon. You guys, I'm doing all of that and I have more free time than I've ever had in my life. And bizarrely, I have more income than I've ever had in my life. You really don't have to be boxed in. If you love your agency job, kick ass, stay at it. If you want more than what you already have, start dreaming. Get it all down. Once you've dreamed it up, compare it to your current life. And where there are holes, take action to make change in those holes. And then I want you to start thinking about, okay, what's in my way of making even more changes? And then get what you need so that you can break those obstacles down. I got a life coach. I had a business coach for a while. I got back into therapy. I listened to every podcast on the planet about online business building. I created a community of colleagues who are doing this kind of thing so that I could talk to them about it. Figure out what the obstacles are and let's break them down. You can subscribe to a mailing list that I'm running to help people with this. It's listed there below. It'll also be on the freebie PDFs that I'm giving you. But it's not just me. Think about everybody in this summit. More than likely, they're doing some additional work. So if I'm not your jam, make sure you connect with somebody who is. Or better yet, connect with a bunch of us. We're excited. We're so excited that this is a path that's available to us, and we all really want to help you and share it with you. So come on, y'all. Let's put some more freedom and flexibility and, of course, the flow in your life. It's all about you guys, and it's all for therapists because Lord knows we serve a lot, and it's time to stop sacrificing so much.